to
Nah,
video?
we're just gonna start it over real quick, and we weren't
Okay.
too far into it.
Okay.
All right, folks, we had a little bit of a technical error on Leonard Williams, so we're gonna start this one over. But welcome to the RSP Film Room number 23. I am back with Ryan Riddle, the former Cal defensive end and former, well, actually current record holder for the single season sack record, and former NFL player. And Ryan is back with me. We're going to be watching. We had a double dip. We started with Sean Oakman, and if we have my peculiar cat as the edge rusher meter or defensive end meter, because he seems to like them. He was asleep for the Sean Oakman episode after being up here at the beginning of it for most of the day, for most of the night beforehand. But once the tape rolled, he actually left. But he's camping out for Leonard Williams, who is we're about to see in the Cal tape here, who is a defensive tackle and defensive end. So Ryan, welcome back to the show. If you can, I'm going to get the tape rolling here. But I get that set up, can you tell folks a little bit about Williams? Tell us also a little bit about the differences between the different types of defensive tackles that people are often looking for and evaluating, and where Williams fits into that spectrum.
Absolutely. And it's good to see the cat waking up, ready for a good show, hopefully. Leonard Williams show, who is a guy I think he's listed 6'5", 290 pounds. He plays defensive tackle, more in a three technique position, in a 4-3, which USC runs. He also plays some plays as a 4-3 defensive end at times. In the NFL, I could see him being projected. I mean, this is just my opinion. I could see him being projected as a 3-4 defensive end, a 4-3 defensive end, a three technique defensive tackle, and a 4-3. Very versatile player who can play almost anywhere on the defensive line. He's that strong. He's that fast, and he's got that much talent.
And so,
Just from what we've watched in a little bit before the technical error.
absolutely. And one of the things you brought up in that previous segment was you talked about what Bill Walsh looks for in football players. And I think this is a really good contrast with Leonard Williams and Sean Oakman, who Oakman is kind of that muscle-bound freak at 6'7", 270, and, looks like he could be bodybuilding or professional wrestling, someday soon. Leonard Williams isn't exactly that kind of build. But tell us why Leonard Williams' build might be more appealing, especially to a guy like Walsh in the past.
Yeah, so one of the things that Bill Walsh said, who was a great scout, or he had the ability to assess personnel and identify talent, really underrated skill for Bill Walsh. But one of the things he always talked about with football players and his scouting is that he never really liked those guys who seemed overly built, those overly muscular Mr. Olympia style bodies, because they were not equipped. Those bodies were not equipped for the type of movements that football requires. It yields a sort of stiff, less agile body. And even though every football player to some degree is going to be thick and going to have muscle and all of that stuff, there's almost like a soft, squishy element to football players that may, to some, seem underdeveloped, but in reality, it is so much an asset to that football player that allows him to bend and move way more fluid than a guy who just can stand up on stage, flex his muscles, and look incredibly strong. But you'll see time and time again that these types of guys who just are muscle-bound bodybuilders, they fail all the time in the NFL. And people might wonder why that is, and that's just because that body type does not it's not optimal for the things that are required in football, even for an offensive lineman.
Well, that's worthwhile for everyone to note who will be at the Senior Bowl next week at the weigh-in. So definitely something to consider when you're when you read about the weigh-in, everyone, and you start talking, and people start talking about how guys look a little flabby here and there, or don't have the perfect looking body. So we're going to get started here with Williams, and we're going to see him right off the bat, and we're going to see one of the things that we talked about is explosion. And there's a little agility there on this first play to kind of hop over the trash, but you're going to see the explosion on this next play. Just watch him fire into that chest, jerk the guy backwards, move him back 3 yards, and then shed him to the inside.
Impressive. I mean, he's owning that blocker in a way that it's like a man going up against a boy. A great way to start this out. A great way to start this out.
And as you noted, I asked about leverage and how does a player kind of know when to do it, and you said it's just really a feel thing and knowing that when you have a guy back on his heels, which you made, which was a terrific point earlier.
And he's got those long arms that NFL personnel covet. They want those long arms. They want that anchor that he has. He's got that agility to turn and bend and run.
And just violence throughout this play. I mean, even though he doesn't get anywhere, he's ripping through people, and he's getting, and you can tell he's a violent player even just by the fact that the Cal lineman here at the end gives him a little bit of a cheap shot at the end of the whistle here. A little extra there. And look at that. I mean, huge push. Nice punch. One arm. Makes the tackle, too. And you commented about his quickness. I mean, talk a little bit more about that.
Well, for a guy who's supposed to be 290 pounds, he closes ground quick, and he gets up to that next gear in just a step or two, and that's a rare thing. It's kind of like there's this trending video that's gone viral of a tiger jumping up in the air to grab a piece of meat that a guy's throwing over a cage. And the tiger, is like 500, 600, 700 pounds and is able to just do these magnificent things with that fast twitch, explosive muscle. And if you're born with something like that, if you have that gift, then, I mean, it's an impressive thing to watch. And to a diluted degree, we're seeing Leonard Williams with tiger blood inside of him.
Yeah, you absolutely. I mean, he looks like he's playing at a different speed than everybody else.
And that rip right there. I mean, you pointed out this rip, how just incredibly dominant it is, and well timed, executed perfectly, technique, the whole nine, and he plays the game with that blocker using leverage, strength, length, everything, all in one play, just crescendoing in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, if I could like inhabit the body of a football player for like 3 seconds, this would probably be on my short list of 3 seconds that I would like to have. Just to know what that feels like. And then now we have him at end. And violent
and here's
punch.
The closing speed right here.
Yeah. Doesn't get him, but the amount of ground he makes up. And that's the thing about scouting, too, is it's not always about whether he got the result, but it's the process and what you're seeing during that process.
Mm-hmm.
You got the arm over on the inside, on the outside there, even though nothing came of it. You just see the quick moves with the hands and a variety of moves. You see the rip, you see kind of a swim over the top.
And another thing I really like about what I've seen so far with him, especially in contrast to the Sean Oakman tape, is a guy who plays with a purpose, and You could see his desire to get to that ball carrier. You could see the hustle. You could see the passion. You could see it. And it's less lumbering, that was something
Yeah.
that stood out about Oakman's tape. He doesn't have that lumbering quality to him.
Not at all. And even this play where he doesn't get to the quarterback and he bull rushes the man, watch him just control to get it so that he's turning inside. He's following what's going on this play.
Yep.
While
he's completely physically dominating the man in front of him, he's got that extra eye, and this is always something I look for. So the really good thing that you're pointing out, he's got that eye looking at who has the ball, and he knows where he wants to go. He's not just doing this in the dark, where I'm just going to beat the man in front of me, and then after I do that, I'm going to reassess and find out what's next. He knows what's next as he's handling phase one.
It's just like a running back who's looking at the next level,
Yeah, great point. And that trash that fell in front of him, Oakman would have been on the ground in a very clumsy, ridiculous fashion.
Yep.
Here, Leonard just handles that trash. He handles it. Look at that.
Yeah. Knows how to shorten his stride, and that's so true because we saw with Oakman right away multiple times where he was on the ground or just kind of stuck. Look at
very
that
subtle
rush.
thing. Oh my god! And very subtle thing that's happening here. If we can watch that again.
Yeah.
His initial 2 steps, his direction and where he takes off, which isn't on this play.
All right, we'll go to the next one here in a sec. We'll let that happen. Here we go.
Okay, pause it. Okay, he is setting up this offensive tackle right now with an outside, a quasi inside, and then right back outside, which is going to put this guy on his heels and make. And I know it's hard to see. It's hard to see any reaction from that right tackle. But I'm telling you, the way he stepped into that, his first 3 steps, caused this guy to be off balance and allow that bull and that power rush to be much more effective because he's got the guy light on his feet, ready to handle a change of direction, and then comes the overpowering bull rush right into the quarterback.
And you can almost see it in his hips. Like, no, don't watch the lineman, but watch how his hips change and his feet move, how Leonard's feet move to see what he's going to do next. So you watch the 3 steps, and it's clearly outside. The knees are pointed outside. The hips are still kind of outside. He's got the man moving. You see a quick lateral step right here. But watch this next step as you described, Ryan, and watch how now he's inside. That the hips are geared towards like, okay, I'm kicking this inside, and all my leverage is going to go into driving you back into the pocket.
And somebody might just watch that play and think, wow, Leonard Williams is so strong. And he is so strong. But what he did there more than anything is he played the leverage game and got that guy off balance and then used the strength that he has. And that's why he's able to just really just turn that guy into that blocker into almost a non-factor.
Yeah, and that's speed, that's angles, leverage. I mean, like you
awareness.
Said, awareness. And
this is what they don't. This is what nobody will teach you. There's no I've never heard of all the different levels of football that I played. I've never heard any coaching what we're talking about right now. Just so you know.
See, go figure. And that's a very important point. What you would hear coached is sometimes about offensive linemen. And you're looking at this, and he's not opening the gate too early. He's slow to open the gate in terms of his hips. But then once he slides, this is like you said, this is very subtle.
He's got that guy thinking that he was going to play a roundabout outside attack, and right at the last moment, he jumps in and just takes him back. And that's exactly how little old 6'2", 200 340-pound me was able to do that to 340-pound guys. Is I had to use leverage, and he has all the advantages in the world physically, and he still knows the subtleties of leverage. Very, very impressive.
Beautiful. Here we get to see a close-up of that too. And swats at the ball. Wow. All of that in one. Leverage, setting up the man, the leverage, and then just, like you said, seeing that next step. What's
He didn't
next?
even need ideal hand placement there. It just the guy was so light on his feet that a bull rush was just inevitably going to succeed.
What a gorgeous play, man.
And people will watch that play and they'll go, Leonard Williams is so strong. But you know what? I could have done a similar thing just by using the leverage that Williams used. And they don't realize that the true skill of that play was playing the leverage game against that offensive lineman.
Fantastic. Now we're going to see him back a little bit more on the inside here. Splitting the double team, getting some penetration.
And he stopped before he got too washed out.
Yep.
Here's a turn corner, but
he knows his end goal, and he's always keeping an eye on it. You see him ripping through one man. Yeah.
Staying alive, moving down. And I would like to see him not slow up at the end of that last play. That was a completed pass on that hook or comeback route. He slowed down, and I would just like to see him rushing and running his butt off to go make a play there.
Here it is.
I think everything's great. I think he thinks his job is over a little too early, and he needs to come and see he's kind of like lumbering at the end there.
And here's the thing that's interesting about that. I mean, maybe we're nitpicking, but again, when you start talking about players who might go in the top 10, are you looking at the difference between a pro and a pro starter and an all-pro? I've seen Hall of Fame tape of defensive linemen, I know you have, who come down the line like this, who get close, the ball's thrown right here, and they're peeling off down the flat.
That's a must on a Rod Marinelli defense or any defense. Tony Dungy, all of those cover 2 type defenses. There's nothing more paramount than every single man running to that football as long and until the whistle blows. And they would have docked him for a loaf there on that play. But
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Williams being as fast as he is could have been within a few yards of this play at this stage.
Right.
And cutting inside. Now he was out of bounds, so that's why they stopped.
Okay. So there was just a whistle, and he kept running. Okay, so that takes away all of that criticism.
Well,
unless there was no whistle.
No, there's a whistle after the catch. Like if he continued running downfield, we'll see this one more time. Let's see. Here we go. I think this is it. No, it's one more after this. What we see is he should be peeling off. I mean, like right here, you're still going to be looking at him still running down the field, but once this throws off, I would think he needs to be turning downfield and peeling off to the flat. Now here's where, they did wave it off.
They called it. Okay, that's what happened. Okay.
He was in bounds step. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, if that's the case, then he actually was hustling to get downfield and just started letting up right at the whistle, which is once again another good play by him. Impressive.
Definitely downfield on that play.
Okay.
He almost got a piece of that ball too.
Wait, can we see that one again?
Yeah. Here we go. Get the.
Yeah, he almost got the play right before that where he jumps up.
Yeah.
I could tell that he's getting a little tired here at the end of the half.
Okay.
But it's okay. Like he's like,
and they were probably in a hurry up right here in the 2-minute drill.
Mm-hmm. The tempo is getting to him.
Yeah.
But man, he is violent. He has a violent head snapping pop when he comes in contact with the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Man, and you could see right there, like his heavy hands are putting these guys off balance instantly.
Yeah.
Boom!
I could watch
shaking
this
them back
all day.
Just shaking them back. He can really this is a man who could play almost any position on the defensive line in the NFL and do an amazing job at it. Inside, outside.
And his hands move with a purpose. As fast as he is, like Oakman's hands, you could see some speed with Oakman's hands, but they were flailing, like you said. These are with a purpose. He knows what he's doing with his hands.
Yeah, there's a deliberate nature and precision. But they're only minimally active in terms of the full arsenal of what he could do with them, which, time, getting in on a roster where he's got some veterans who are going to teach him some tricks of the trade. Let's see what we got there. Let's see that again.
Look at this. I mean, he doesn't make the play, but this is what Oakman doesn't do either, where you just watch him get inside as he follows the running back. He sees the running back check out this hole.
And really look where he makes contact. To make contact, he didn't give ground. He actually, right when he peeled off, he came forward into the running back instead of giving ground to make that tackle.
Yeah, here it comes again.
So right now he's him and the offensive lineman are sort of teetering on that line of scrimmage. He's got the offensive lineman sort of on the line of scrimmage, and he's going to have to peel off. And usually it leads to going backwards. He's able to prevent going backwards and goes forwards into the running back and pushes him, causes that bow out, which he didn't make the tackle, but that's disruption right there. That's disruption. And it's an understanding.
Whoa! Wait a minute. What was that human blur? Oh my God, we got to see that again. All right, hold on. Here comes the human blur. Did the guard just not? Did the guard just like take the wrong angle to begin with here?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you know what it is? The guard's pulling, and this guy is coming from the inside, and it's too slow.
No hesitation.
Yeah, that's the center having to come in. That's the center having to come outside, and
that was really just why would, if you know Leonard Williams, if you've seen even a little bit of tape like we have, asking your center to have to come down and jump in front of him and stop him in that play like that is way too much to ask.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. He's a step too late already just from pivoting.
And he comes back and just finishes him off. Look at how he's able to redirect there.
Yeah. Let's look at the little bend, too, in the waist. I mean, I want to see his bend.
Exactly what I'm referring to.
Good. Yeah.
Look, you see how quick he changes in there and cuts in there?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, this guy's dominating.
This is just too
and
much fun.
You could just see, you know how you watch Des Bryant, and Des Bryant is dense with muscle. He's a thick receiver. He's got a lot of girth to him, but he's so nimble and agile, right? You can see that agility in Des Bryant and that acrobaticness. Leonard Williams is sort of like a bigger version of that in the way that he has that nimble, acrobatic nature to his physiology.
Yeah. Look at the arm where it's like a running back who gives the leg and takes it away. You know, watch him give this inside arm and take it away to get inside the defender here. Gives the arm, comes over the top, takes it away.
Oh no, that was a beautiful swim move. It's a beautiful swim move. That's textbook. And then finishes it. Scares the crap out of Goff. Oh, this...
He's like, what am I supposed to do? Here, a close-up.
Look at that swim. He just... Yeah. He has 71, so scared of his power at this point, and he can use that. He has that knowledge and that awareness. Now I got this guy leaning, overcompensating for my power. Boom, olays him. Finishes it, closes it. Domination.
This is like this is everything the Oakman tape wasn't. Wow.
All right, let's see that one again.
All right.
Look, he picks. I mean, he does the right thing there.
Yeah, because he's accounting for the running back on the play action, right? As if the running back was going, right? Or is that? Or am I missing that? You got the play action.
What he wants to do.
Yeah.
Because he's got help inside. It's good that he's taking that side of the offensive lineman. But what's incredible is the way that he can do what he wants. Hey, you know what I mean? When I want to go this way, got it. I want to go this way, got it. And these guys are just ragdolls in his hands. Like, to be that incredibly, it's not even just strength, but to have everything that you need to do that, it's hard to find.
Jeez, wow! Look at that. This we've seen. I don't think I'm exaggerating. At least 8 to 10 plays.
Every play, this guy is exhibiting special qualities.
Good hand placement, good leverage, and then just...
And look how he breaks down right there in case the running back wants to bounce back out.
Yeah.
And then the running back decides not to bounce back out, and he's still able to go where he wants to go. And just this guy blocking him is like...
This is how you dominate a tight end.
He's doing it in futility.
Yeah. This is what Sean Oakman couldn't do against a tight end.
And if you want to try and hone in and stop Leonard Williams, how can you do that when he's going from one position to the next? Here he is at defensive end. Maybe he'll be inside. Maybe he'll be on that side. You can't really find where he's going to be. He's versatile. He could play anywhere and just disrupts.
This might be the most fun tape I have watched all year.
It's impressive. I mean, we've been doing this. You've been doing this for an insane amount of years, and I've been around this kind of thing and watching tape for a long time, and he's really standing out.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean for the 2015 crop of prospects.
No. So I have to ask, because the most recent guy that was really impressive like this along the defensive front to me was Aaron Donald. What was your thought about Aaron Donald, and how would you compare and contrast him to a guy like Donald? Because I see a more explosive player in some respects.
Aaron Donald never had the ability to manhandle his opposition to this degree. Aaron Donald used quickness a lot more and was able to penetrate by avoiding blockers a lot more. Leonard Williams is dominant in a way that he can just go right through you. He like you don't exist. All you can do, and all of these guys are hoping to do, is just try their best to slow him down, and they're barely even slowing the man down. And that's not something Aaron Donald did. Aaron Donald, he got around you, and he was really good at that stuff. And he was strong, but his best qualities were getting around you.
What do you say?
And that's what mine weren't really. He did, but Leonard Williams is doing something that and usually guys who have this quality, because to be one of the most pause for a second, like one of the most physically exerting things that you do on a football field is pull and bull rush and push guys around. Just getting around them, I mean, that's quickness and stuff, but it's less energy. Williams is doing this consistently every single play. We're in the fourth quarter now with 8 minutes to go, and I've only seen one play where he even looked like he was tired. And everything that he's doing is the most it's the most exhaustive exercise that you could do in football, trying to move other human beings around against their will. That takes up a ton of energy. So what you see, players who can do that, you see them doing that in tiny spurts and stretches. 2 plays here, 1 play there, and like maybe you'll string together 8 versions of that over the course of an entire game. He's doing it every single play. It's crazy. It's incredible.
It is. It truly is. Man. So what would you say to someone who's saying he's playing Cal and Cal's not that great of a team right now? You know, what would you say about that?
Well, first of all, we could see that he is not just beating up on one weak man. He's beating up on an entire team, an entire offensive line of Pac-12 caliber blockers. Now, however good they are, maybe none of these guys are ever going to be in the NFL. Maybe some of them will. Who knows? What he's doing at this level of football is impressive no matter how you slice it. Because he's not just beating up on one person. He's going anywhere he wants on anybody who he wants, and the results are exactly the same each time.
Look at him turning the guy with his strike on this.
And look, he sees the ball. He knows, we have an open window. Get out of this block. Let me close that. And I have the quickness and athleticism and the speed to run down Goff if he tries to take off here, because it looks like he's got some running lane, but Williams closes it down.
Now, Reggie White had that move that what did he call that move where like he flips the Green Bay Packer, or he flips when he was with the Packers in the Super Bowl where
the club move. Right.
Look at him get under the arm of this guy. I don't think that's a club move, but it's a his hands are so fast, and then he's just strong. And then just gets this guy leaning. He feels that guy where he knows where the weak point is. He's so fast at doing it.
the full package. We're seeing a guy who's the full package. Awareness, check. Strength, check.
Holy
Agility,
cow.
check.
Holy cow. I mean, this is a double team, and he nearly gets to that. He nearly gets outside on this
Yeah.
play. This is just,
Let's see. Let's see.
yeah, okay. This isn't it,
Now
but
here he is. Is that him at nose?
yeah. And this is
Flitting.
it. This was it. Yeah. This is him at nose. Let me get it one more time.
He
Right.
turns so what he does is he's trying to shoot that A gap and he turns his shoulders to get skinny through that A gap. They kind of converge on him, drive him back a little bit, and he still sees where the ball is through all of that and chases it, closes yep. Fit closes up that hole that's developing.
He
He
almost
doesn't get
gets
there in
there.
time. Right. He doesn't get there in time, but he's going and doing other people's jobs just because he can see it all and has the physical ability to do what his eyes see. His body can do what his eyes see.
That's some impressive stuff, man. He makes that tackle.
Well, we wanted to see. I think that was that a short, third and short,
Yeah, I think it was. Let's look at that again.
and
Fourth and one.
the offensive line, oh, 4th and 1, and the offensive line wins this one with some good pushback,
Yep.
and it looks like he got high there. He was stood up because he didn't get low on that play. I think he was too busy trying to look.
Yeah.
See, we were talking about eyes, and it looks like he's trying to find the ball, and
Because
he
he's
lifts
right
his
here.
head up. Okay.
I think he's right
Oh
there.
no, wait, is that him? Because the guy I saw,
Yeah, I thought it was he got pushed back at first. Let's take a closer
I
look
think
again.
what I see is him lifting his head up. He's gonna lift up. See, is that his head right there?
Yeah, and he's back here caught in the
And
pile.
then yeah, where he lifts his head up, and that's a big no-no that they do teach you in football. Like the defensive line coaches will teach you, don't get caught peeking in the backfield because you lift your head up and then you get driven back. However, that's a simplified coaching point that you don't want to listen to too much because what we've talked about throughout this tape is how well he's been able to see everything. And if you can do both, which he usually does, you're going to be a dominant player. That time it worked against him.
Wowee. What a player.
Man, I mean,
What a player.
that's a rare kind of dominance.
Yeah. Makes me want to watch another game of his. I'm going to have to watch more of this just for the fun of it. You know, I don't even study.
Yeah.
I don't even study guys at this position, and I want to watch more of his tape. Wow.
He's a man. He's a man in the class of his own right now. Unless there's some other guy like that in this draft class, he's. I mean, Sheldon Richardson, I was really impressed with when I watched him, but he was a penetrator and a guy who didn't have that kind of I go where I want mentality. He had I can penetrate with my quickness and my athleticism, and he was strong, but he didn't do these things. Aaron Donald, we talked about him. Same kind of thing with Donald. He was more savvy in slipping through creases and gaps and using his speed to do so. Williams, he beasts guys. He's like, like what Marshawn Lynch is as a running back. What he's got Reggie White-esque qualities in his physical dominance. He's got the awareness to use technique and to use leverage.
So just looking up NFL.com just while you're talking and looking up Williams and what they had to say, he's certainly been projected as a top 5 pick, and this was heading into the season. This was in the spring. He was projected as a top 5
just
pick.
from the 13 tape and earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got that. Then you have the fact. Let's see. Some scouts have compared Williams to former All-Pro Richard Seymour and think Williams is the real deal, among this year's defensive linemen. And let's see what this article had to say about that. We've got, let's see, the injuries have hampered USC defensive lineman this year. Let's see if he had some shoulder and ankle problems, but according to what they have to say, he had a torn labrum that he had surgery on in the off season. Scouts said Williams' most impressive film of the year came against Arizona, where he had 8 solo tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. He had 6 sacks in the season. Pretty nice stuff. I mean, just looking at this guy overall, I can see why he's a top 5 pick. You just don't see that type of thing. I mean, the last guy I think about who's like always in on a play and moving around to that degree, and I'm talking way back, is Warren Sapp. I think of Warren Sapp being someone who was active and quick, but also could be violent. But I don't know. I mean, again, I don't pay as much as attention to guys at this end of the line until recently, as you have been doing for a while. So, the fact that you're impressed with him to this level is something else.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch more tape of him. But right now, like, I would be drooling to have him. He would be a guy up top of my draft board.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I would be ready to take this guy. Still got a lot more tape to watch, a lot more prospects to check out. This is in the early stages for me. I know you've been doing it all year long, but man, to start out in the early parts of my 2015 scouting with a guy like that, it's kind of like going on the best roller coaster at the amusement park. Right when you get there, then every other ride just sort of feels like the kiddie zone.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a standard bearer or a template for what a good player looks like. So this was definitely a great episode. Sean Oakman was a very educational episode, but I would say this was probably the most enjoyable of the two that we watched. So
it's sad that we watched Oakman and Williams, and it's like we saw two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Of what this position can do, and it's good. It was good contrast, really. So very exciting, very dominating player. Apparently, he needs to stay healthy. If he can do that, the sky's the limit. So we have an all-pro type. I would say, real deal for sure. I think he's way more fluid and nimble than Richard Seymour ever was.
Yeah, I kind of couldn't get that comparison.
He appears to be just as strong.
Yeah, I didn't get the Seymour comparison as much because the quickness is definitely there in a way that Seymour was good for sure, but this is a different level.
Seymour couldn't close ground like this guy.
Yeah. So, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. Stay tuned for more RSP Film Rooms. They will definitely be coming each week. Please catch Ryan Riddle and the work that he does over at Bleacher Report, and also catch him on Twitter for a lot of the insights that he's going to deliver for the draft. Give him your Twitter handle, Ryan.
It's very simple. It's at Ryan_Riddle, RIDDLE, just like Riddle, the joke, or the mystery, the enigma. All of those things apply.
There you go. I'm Matt Waldman. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.